I'm not going to do it. It's too easy. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the brand new season of television on Netflix. That is You, Season 2. I need your comments down below. How'd you feel about the first season? Were you excited for Season 2? And let's get right into Season 2. So, escaping Candace and basically the ghosts of his past in New York City, Joe changes his name, moves to Los Angeles, and vows to start fresh and really change his ways. But then he meets Love, his charming new co-worker. I don't mean he meets up with his love. I mean he meets up with the character named Love, played by Victoria Pedretti. She is known for The Haunting of Hill House. She popped up at Once Upon a Time in Hollywood earlier this year. What a wonderful actress. I was so excited to see what she was going to do after Hill House. It didn't feel like at first that this was going to be a good role for her, and then you realize what this show's all about and the dynamics that it brings to every character, not just our main character. She really, really worked in this season of television. Of course, we are here for Joe. Joe is the character that really was the talk of the town when Season 1 came out. This started out as a Lifetime show. Netflix realized they had something on their hands when they released this last year, and now they are producing Season 2. And Season 2, while I was fearful, I was afraid because what are you going to do? I mean, we've already played out a story like this. Why would you rinse and repeat the same thing in Season 2? But you pretty much have to go down that route, right? No. This story, while similar with elements and how certain story beats go, yeah, you could say it is fairly similar to what Season 1 brought us, but one, I don't want them to stray too far away from what we love about this show, because what we love about this show is watching Joe just, pretty much be a creep, but it's entertaining, and for some reason, maybe not everyone feels this way, but I feel like they do a great job of getting the audience to root for this guy who, on paper, you just shouldn't be rooting for. And they bring that element into Season 2, and he's worming his way in and out of dire and difficult and strange situations that I just wasn't expecting going into the season. And at times, they'll put the relationship aspect of the show, which is what brought viewers into Season 1 and what allowed us to care so much about this character of Joe, root against him and for him at the same time, but they'll put that in the background and allow these other story points to come to the forefront, and you would think it's like, oh, that's not why we signed up for Season 1, that's not why we liked Season 1, but I love the fact that they're not retreading old territory here. They're almost pulling the rug out from underneath the viewers, saying, hey, this is what we're bringing you this season. It's a tad bit different. It's not the same storyline. New mysteries, new things to work our way through. Yes, similar elements, of course. When you get into Episode 2, you're going to be like, well, what was Austin talking about? It's the same old story. It's the same old thing. But as we progress, getting into Episodes 4 and 5, it's like, no, Season 2 is very different, and it's not just the fact that we change locations. We go from New York to Los Angeles, to East Coast to West Coast, so it's a very different city. You have a different setting, and I love that they did that. They had no choice but to do that. Mild spoiler for Season 1. And you would also think, well, since he's getting away with all of these things in Season 1, there's no way that we're going to go through these situations again where he's just covering up things that he continues to do because, the guy needs to go to therapy, clearly, obviously. But in his mind, in his head, what he is doing is right. What he is doing is the best thing for everyone around him, even if the majority of the time it is not. And if you're afraid Season 2 is going to lose that element, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And the supporting cast, I think, is even stronger here than it was in Season 1. Now, Episode 1, we jump into You, Season 2. There are one or two characters that do pop up in later episodes, and I wasn't a huge fan of the acting, and maybe it was the direction, maybe it was the script, but I thought a little bit of it was cheesy, honestly. This whole show's kind of cheesy, but that's what we love about it, and I was like, I just don't know if where this is going to work for the overall season, but it really strays away from that. It goes in a different direction. We meet up with these new characters. Crystalia is someone else I want to talk about, plays a small role in this, plays a pretty big role in this season. It's not even necessarily the character. It's just the fact that I'm getting to see Crystalia do very well in this role, playing a character that, we're clearly not rooting for because of what he ends up doing, but it's cool to see him in that role. It's cool to see some people that I recognize from other shows pop up in this season. I liked the supporting friend group. Love's friend group, the relationship with her brother, is something that we explored throughout the show, and that's what Joe's having to deal with, right? Because he begins to fall for this character in Love, even though he's telling himself in the beginning, I can't do this, not doing it again. And then, sure enough, she turns out to be a very different character from Candace, and I also love the fact that we're not bringing back the same old character with the same old ways and quirks and the obsession with social media that Love does not have, which is really nice. But there are also different things happening. Joe's apartment complex is full of people that he starts exploring, not necessarily sexual relationships with, but just, friendships, some people that he ends up sticking up for. It's like Joe has the right mentality about certain things. He does try to be a hero far too often, and a lot of the times it falls flat on its face, let's be honest, but those moments make this season very interesting. But then he makes these other decisions, and you're just like, Joe, what are you doing? Why do I care? What you're doing right now is horrible. Stop it. But the way this show is written, it's just so interesting. And in season 1, I'm like, is this just so, cheesy and schmaltzy that I'm buying it? And the majority of the time, a show with a constant voiceover, hearing what the main character is thinking, this and that, I usually don't buy a show like that. But for some reason, You is a show that continues to execute very, very well. And it does that in season 2. In my opinion, I think this season is on par, quality-wise, with season 1. It's a very different story. I don't know if I like certain elements as much, but Penn Badgley, it's almost like he was born to play the character of Joe. He is perfect for this role. Absolutely perfect. It sets up a season 3 nicely. I will not say what happens or how it happens because the show just came out, but I would love to know your all's thoughts on the show. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, if you like what we do every single weekend reviewing the brand new Netflix show or movie, hit that thumbs up button. We will definitely do more. I was going a tad bit lower, but the more I talk about this season, the more I like it. It's a solid season of television. It's not a show for everyone, but it is a show for you. I'm going solid 8 out of 10 and 80% for You Season 2. Another really good season in this show that just constantly surpasses my expectations. Did not expect this to be as good as the first season, and I really, really enjoyed it. I would love to know, what are some critiques you have with this season? Like I said, it's not perfect. There were a few storylines that did not quite measure up to what I wanted out of them, but we'll see what happens. Definitely getting a season 3. I have a feeling this show is going to be just as successful this time around. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned because later on I have my worst movies of the year. This morning I put out my best movies of the year, and coming soon, my best Netflix series of 2019. See you soon.